He's a he's got guns and he's got coded VHS tapes. I would have went in a hazmat suit.
Well, it's not your game. You didn't make the rules, so everything comes hard. As long as you're signed to a contract, you're going to take a minority share of the winnings. A select few of us will do well. The majority will not.
Think about that. You got a Diddy victim, you got a Jay-Z victim, and you got a superstar gone. They know what happened. And yet, they had to sit there and have that conversation like they didn't know who did it. Think of the power of that moment.
I know you haven't always loved the internet. How are you seeing progress right now with all of that? Can you use it to your advantage?
It's a double-edged sword.
The music world is reeling as Jaguar Wright drops jaw-dropping revelations about why the legendary Prince couldn't stand Jay-Z and Diddy. Known for his enigmatic genius and fierce independence, Prince never hesitated to call out what he saw as exploitation in the music industry. And now, Jaguar is spilling the tea, claiming Prince has receipts to back up his disdain. Jay-Z and Prince, a friendship that started with a shared love for music and innovation, seemed like a bond too powerful to break. Their journey began when Jay-Z launched Tidal, his ambitious streaming platform. Prince, always ahead of the curve, was surprisingly one of the first major artists to put his music on Tidal, championing the idea of artists owning their art. However, things took a dramatic turn when whispers about Jay-Z flipping Tidal into a money-laundering scheme began to surface.
Jay-Z made waves in the music industry with the launch of Tidal, a subscription-based streaming service owned by artists. The details of the Tidal story are very interesting because it's pretty much a story of Jay-Z flipping a company. Jay-Z initially bought Tidal, which was then called Aspirio, in 2015 for $56 million. The company suffered financial losses in multiple quarters and even needed a $50 million loan from Jay-Z to keep operating. Despite all these challenges, Jay-Z was able to sell 86% of Tidal to Jack Dorsey, head of Block Inc. and former Twitter CEO, for $237 million. Many saw this move by Jack Dorsey as a horrible business move and even suggested he only did it because of his close relationship with Jay-Z. One NYU business professor even called the purchase a $300 million bar tab to hang out with Jay-Z. Either way, Jay walked away from this business venture with a good chunk of change. Remember, it pays to have relationships and don't burn bridges.
I feel like the 444 album is like this breakthrough into freedom for you personally and really for all of us. Nobody cared more about freedom that I know than Prince. And you give a shout out to Prince on the album, which really touched me. A lot of people don't know that you were his business partner. You were the last person he wanted to do business with. After he beat the music industry, he wanted to be with you. Tell us about the significance of that relationship between Prince Rogers Nelson and Sean Jay-Z Carter for you.
Really deep for me. It really was because, you know, just to watch this guy and how brave he was. This man put slave on his face at a time where we all were like, man, Prince is weird. And then to come to find out, oh, he was fighting for his masters the whole time. He was fighting for his freedom the whole time. And for him to come, he came to me. I didn't even have the nerve to call him and say, like, he came to me and said, I know what you're doing. I'm going to give you all of my work. Like a person who fought for their work their whole entire life to come to your office and say, I know what you're doing here. It was a really deep thing for me.
You just explained how you feel about him. I want to tell you how he felt about you, because you know I work with him very closely too. And he saw you as being the one who had finally beaten the system that had beat down black entertainers for, you know, a century. And, you know, for him, you know, he loved Egypt, and you talk about Egypt and when Africans were builders and owners and stuff, and he saw you in that line of a black builder and owner, and he wanted to make sure that, you know, you knew that he had your back. And, you know, for me to see a brother, he didn't just, he had love for everybody. He didn't have respect for everybody. He had respect for you, bro.
You know, you have to really think about why that is. Why does Tidal take so much criticism was the same thing that Spotify does. Costs the same much as Spotify. Oh, it's too expensive. It costs the same much as Spotify. Oh, it's this. It's the same as Apple Music. Oh, this. You know what I'm saying? It's like, why is that?
You think it's personal?
To me?
Yeah.
No,
Right.
I don't think anything's personal. I don't take anything as personal. It could be a lot of things. It could be, you know, I don't know. It could be like self-hate. We have that thing. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody that's like you doing, like your own people doing. I've seen that happen. Like LeVar Ball. I like to talk about other people, so it's not a personal thing with me. LeVar Ball, he said, I'm gonna start my own company. Everybody's like, you should sign a Nike.
Yeah.
Right. Now he may go about things wrong. He may have a big mouth.
With everything he says.
May rub everything, but I bought 3 pair. Why did I buy 3? I didn't get them. You know what I'm saying? But that man has a vision of his own. Why wouldn't I support him?
Right.
Why wouldn't I support him? He feels like he can move culture, and his son got a big enough name and a big enough brand that they can do it.
Right.
Nike had to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Why do we get so upset when us as a culture want to start our own? That is puzzling to me. Like I sit back and I'm like, this makes no sense. Like, why can't he start a sneaker? Oh, you dumb. Sneakers are terrible. Well, there wasn't any more terrible than. And I don't want to remember.
right.
I'm not being negative towards anyone. I've seen some bad sneakers from Under Armour. I've seen some bad sneakers from. I've seen bad Michael Jordan sneakers. Horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, Michael Jordan obviously is the greatest at making.
Right.
At some point, he was selling for Nike, and at some point, he broke away and he started building the Jordan brand. I'm sure that was difficult, and I'm sure people at that time when he was building the Jordan brand was like, "You playing yourself? You gonna leave Nike, man?" All due respect, fuck Nike, man, and I don't mean like personal. I mean fuck the thing. Like everyone has this reverence towards these things, like. You know, I'm sure when we walked in, we started Rock Nation, and everyone looked and said Universal or Def Jam, and like we built the brand. You know what I'm saying? Like it can't happen. We are culture. Nothing moves without us. We just continue to give it away, and it's cool. Everyone can participate. Nike still works with Jordan. Right. It's just the nature of our relationship has to change.
We have to collect. We can be empowered.
That's what I'm saying. Our nature, and that's all this album is saying.
The fallout from these allegations was seismic, pushing Prince to pull much of his catalog from all streaming platforms as a protest against the shady dealings in the music industry. It wasn't just a personal riff for Prince. It became the spark that ignited his crusade against the music industry's sinister underbelly. In interviews, he exposed the bizarre and exploitative practices that had long been swept under the rug. He spoke candidly about how artists were manipulated, their work stolen, and their legacies tarnished by powerful elites who only cared about profit, throwing hints at Jay-Z.
I know you haven't always loved the internet. How are you seeing progress right now with all of that? Can you use it to your advantage?
It's a double-edged sword. You know, a lot of artists aren't getting paid full scale for their art, and the internet, because of downloading and things like that, is kind of like a black hole, and it's hard to audit, it's hard to get accounting, and it's not that it's just about the money, but it's about justice and fairness. And when people say that they love you and they respect you, but at the same time take, 80% of your earnings, then expect you to fix your own communities, and they'll probably edit all of this out, but then it gets, that's the sharp part of the sword, and we're at the wrong end of it right now. So eventually, with courageous people going out there and actually saying something and standing up for it, I think we'll get some balance.
What was it that you were listening to in music today that made you say, I've got to put some more stuff out there? You have to do this.
Mainly I sensed a great deal of negativity and entropy in the music. There's a disintegration going on that we really have to address. Our values have been lessened to a great degree. VH1's been pretty cool. They don't show too much craziness on their channel, but other Viacom channels do. So I think that we should address this as a community as to what it's doing to the culture. People can say all they want to, that there's no reason for these kids to listen to music and then go shoot somebody. but you know, there's something that's triggering these buttons.
Do you feel responsible as an artist
Very
for
much so.
what you're putting? Do you think that other people do?
No, I don't.
You talk about music that's going out there right now. Are you talking about any particular type of music that you don't think is such a positive influence?
Well, it's very obvious when you hear words and lyrics, whether they enlighten or discourage.
Okay, so hip-hop gets slammed a lot. Marilyn Manson gets slammed, Korn gets slammed. A lot of those acts that are, you know, out there putting, is that what we're talking about?
It's not what I'm talking about.
No?
I'm just talking about the truth.
Just general?
Yeah. The truth is that you either are here to enlighten or discourage.
Do you feel like you obviously, you know, you've grown a lot and you've changed since 1982 and the 80s when you were putting out music, but you were always thought of as somebody who was putting out extremely music.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a problem to you, or are you talking more about the profanity?
Yeah, it's not bad.
No.
I'm talking about it's very spiritual in nature, and that's a God-given gift too. No, I'm talking about just plain disintegration, where you're not even speaking the truth anymore, you know, and the violent imagery that's permeated the society and our music now. And sampling is getting to the point where it's out of hand too. I mean, pretty soon we'll be sampling the sample that was already sampled.
Somebody was joking saying Mariah Carey had sampled herself on the latest album. You know. How do you measure your success?
By who was the rapper? Masterpiece said, "Only God can judge me." There it is. Only God can judge me.
All right. Good. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, it's not your game. You didn't make the rules, so everything comes hard. And as long as you're signed to a contract, you're going to take a minority share of the winnings. A select few of us will do well. The majority will not. So as a people, we'll be considered a minority. But stop. Let's take a moment and look at yourselves. There's nothing minor about you. You are a blessed people. You're the most talented on earth, and you are still grateful. That is why upon winning in their game, you always thank God. Tonight I would like to ask one favor of you. Imagine what we'll all be like in our own game. Peace and love for one another.
But here's where things get even darker: the arrival of Diddy. Unbeknownst to many, Diddy and Prince were also friends once upon a time. Some of the infamous Diddy parties, known for their over-the-top indulgence, were actually held at Prince's house. But as the saying goes, the truth will always come out.
It became such a big deal back then is ever since my third album, I wasn't really taking large advances from the recording companies. I was recording the albums myself in my own studio. So the way I looked at it, I owned the work because I paid for it. And I did all the work. I created it, so I felt like it should belong to me. That said, the companies felt otherwise. And they would always hold this contract up and say, well, you signed it. And I say, well, I understand that. It's not like I want to leave. I just want to, you know, talk about this thing and see if we can't make it more fair. Of course, they wouldn't change, because if they changed, they wouldn't really exist. And that's kind of the situation.
Again, I don't know how he grew up, but like I said before, you be so excited to get this money you never seen before, money you thought you would never see, you know, and all you got to do is sign your name and it's yours. But a lot of people don't really read the fine prints. They kind of just and then they sign, like, give me my money, you know. Next thing you know, this contract you in, you can't get out of, and it's all these, you know, things that you didn't know was gonna be in there. Yeah, and then guess what? You don't own the rights to your music. Yeah.
We're in right today, they're not gonna exist much longer. But it's not like we're against them or anything like that. The idea is that we find better ways of working with one another. It shouldn't be a situation where they own the album or the work. We're talking about intellectual copyright. If they're going to be indeed a delivery service, then that's fine. But even FedEx doesn't say that they own the thing that they ship.
Number two, Prince actually lent his house to Diddy for his parties, but he never attended the parties himself because allegedly Prince had his suspicions about what Diddy was doing with the freak-offs.
Yeah, the first Diddy party I went to was
Wait, what? At Prince's house? Oh no. Well, I mean, you know, rest in peace to Prince. Oh man. This is Jason Lee talking right here.
He never attended the parties himself because allegedly Prince had his suspicions about what Diddy was doing with the freak-offs.
Yeah, the first Diddy party I went to was at Prince's house. So you want to go to Prince's house to the Diddy party where Tyrese is performing and Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher are swinging on swings. That is what's happening on the other side of the wall. And so the one thing that makes this party different than a Jamie Foxx party or any other celebrity party that wrangles a bunch of young women or guys or whatever too, is that Diddy didn't let you bring your security in the party.
Number three, Prince's estate was also involved in a lawsuit with Jay-Z, who happened to be very tight with Diddy before his lawsuit.
I had searched deep within my heart and spirit, and I wanted to make a change and move to a new plateau in my life. And one of the ways in which I did that was to change my name. It sort of divorced me from the past and all the hang-ups that go along with it, as it's been well chronicled in deep dispute with my record label.
Which is Warner Brothers, right?
Yeah. We had some issues that were basically about ownership of the music and how often I was supposed to record and things like that. I really searched deep within to find out the answer to whether fame was most important to me or my spiritual well-being, and I chose the latter.
According to Jaguar Wright, Prince's connection to Diddy was in flames when the Purple Rain singer discovered the real nature of these gatherings, dubbed freak-offs. Prince was appalled. What he initially thought were exclusive Hollywood parties turned out to be something much more sinister. Jaguar Wright revealed that Prince had a zero-tolerance policy for anything morally questionable and was deeply disturbed by the activities under Diddy's influence, so much so that Prince severed ties with Diddy entirely.
Matter of fact, where's Tyrese? Tyrese, come and steal this so you can put some kind of common sense in her so she won't let this turn her baby into a child. Tyrese took your gave her some goddamn good and common sense.
Okay, Jag.
Think about that.
Well, this is the last question we're gonna ask you, Jag. Then we're gonna get up out of here, and we're gonna see you in Dallas pretty soon.
Yeah. Hopefully this time I won't get arrested again.
Right.
You know, it's me and Odell's 6-month anniversary coming up.
Right. That's perfect.
No.
Definitely.
No, guess what we're doing for our 6-month anniversary? Yes!
What's that?
Housewarming.
That's what's up.
Oh my God. So what was that last question?
Okay. Damon Dash.
Yeah, what about him?
What is your thoughts on everything that he said now since his interviews have came out and he's speaking and now he has to look at a couple things since things have went viral and got mainstream attention? What are your thoughts on Damon Dash? Thoughts?
I suggest he help me complete my wish list and come and sit on that blue couch.
So speaking of Diddy, he got met with another lawsuit today. It's about him waving
He
a
gonna
gun
get
in
his ass beat in every week.
right, like he was waving a gun in a car chase this time.
He's the diddler.
Do you think he did everything? All these
He's
things?
the diddler. He's the devil. Didn't I say it?
Yeah, you said this.
I told y'all when I was wearing the Sex Face t-shirt and my fatigues, our first big million-view interview in 3 weeks. Remember the first time on the blue couch? And I said, I hate talking about all of these things, and I pray to God his kids doesn't hear it, but their father is the devil. Was I exaggerating? 2 years later?
No, not at all.
So, let me ask you this, Jack. Why do you think Diddy's kids spoke out publicly?
What choice do they have?
Even I think one of the sons did a rap, and he's like,
what choice do they have? When you're dealing with the kind of narcissistic control freak that Diddy is, and you raise children under that, the financial for all of them is probably the worst. Because there's no way they can make money without him. He has them locked in. And if he falls, who's gonna hire them? Who's gonna fund them? Who's gonna look out for them? No one.
Right.
No one. They're not fighting for their father, they're fighting for their survival. What they all gonna do? Go work at the Good Burger or the Wall Burger? What they gonna do?
Right. This is
What they gonna go? They gonna go and open up a bunch of very unusually small chicken thigh restaurants with the rosé?
His reputation is tarnished.
His reputation is tarnished. They're also being implicated in some of his crimes. They will be pariahs. They're going to be worse off than OJ's kids.
And just when you thought this couldn't get any messier, Gene Deal, Diddy's former bodyguard, dropped another jaw-dropping revelation. Diddy's mom was allegedly part of these freak-offs too. The layers of deceit and scandal surrounding these parties are thicker than ever.
You heard about how Diddy Mom is being accused of helping Diddy steal money? It's a guy named D1 that's suing her.
I think that they accusing Diddy Mom of stealing anything is wrong. All she did was allow him to put certain things in her name to protect. If at any time, because of some of the things that he was doing and the nature of what he was doing and he knew he was doing to people, if he ever sued, he'd probably be safe having money and things in her name. Do you understand that? See, I don't believe Miss Combs gave that stuff up a long time ago when she used to do her little modeling thing with her little ladies of the night, the little wild parties. When she gave that up, I don't think she was in the business. I don't think she was in the business to know exactly where the money's going, how's coming in, who she taking it from. He was just doing it and putting it and had the authority to put it in her name. You understand what I'm saying?
Right, but let me ask you this. Do you think she knew what he was doing?
I believe she knew he was doing the freak-offs, but do I believe she knew he was allocating different monies to different places and which way it was going, which offshore accounts, which Swiss banks accounts and all this shit was going in? Nah. I think she just was enjoying the fruits of the labor.
But why you believe she knew about the freak offs?
Because one of the witnesses said she was there. And do you remember this, bro? Check it out. People tell off on themselves so much, man, and I don't understand when people don't catch it. Diddy has said this. He said, when I give a party, I have to have an ambulance outside of the house. Paramedics ready. That people have to take IVs. Remember the time that him and his mama kissed each other on the lips?
Yeah, I remember that video.
Do you remember that both of them was getting an IV at the same time?
Yeah, I did notice that, yep.
That's from the Diddy freak off party. And I'm gonna say alleged.
So let me ask you this. You knowing her at one point, you knowing her personally, is she the kind of person that, you know, will be a part of a freak off or no?
I think that she liked to party, and she partied with young people. She's always been like that. She always copied or emulated Little Kim and Mary J. Blige, or they emulated her. The blonde hair, the nails, the high boots, the age-appropriate, inappropriate clothing that I want to say, because I know people going to drag me through it. I'm what you mean? She's 70, 80 years old. She don't have to wear no, she can wear hot pants if she want to. Okay, all right. You can't make nothing dust moist.
Was she a freak?
I don't want to speak about that man mama like that, bruh. Was his mama a freak? I don't know that about her. But if she was that Diddy freak off at 70 years old, she was just like the rest of them. The freaks come out at night. I don't know that about his mother, man. I know she used to date young guys, but that don't make her a freak. They call her a cougar. Right? That's not a freak, that's a cougar.
Well, unfortunately, like I said, music industry isn't being run by musicians. So it's being run by accountants and lawyers. So I don't know if they'd know real music if they heard it. What they're looking for is acts that are going to make the most money for them. So you'll see all kinds of little gimmicks, so to speak. And ultimately, real music is just about a microphone and a spotlight. If you can get over like that and bring the special effects within your body, you know, then I think you're gonna have a lot longer career.
So, what do you think? Did Prince's moral compass guide him to uncover Hollywood's most scandalous secrets, forcing him to walk away? Let us know in the comments. And if you're here for all the drama, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more explosive music industry secrets. Until next time, fam, keep it locked.